Aaron stood alone in the Library of Echoes, where lanterns burned with patience and shelves leaned like old friends. Aaron opened a scroll that hummed softly in the hand, a thread of light weaving through ink. Aaron read of a formula to braid light with shadow, to mend wounds, summon rain, and bend stubborn minds. Aaron noticed margins that warned in a whisper. Knowledge is a flame. The flame chooses the hand that wields it. Aaron resolved to study the scroll with care, never letting desire outrun discipline. That resolve met a traveler when Mira arrived at dusk. A caravan of goods rattling across the stones. Mira stepped into the library's glow, coins dangling as if they carried the pulse of the dawn. Mira heard of the scroll from Aaron and tasted the idea of power made cheap by purchase. Mira asked for the exact formula, promised to share its gifts with villages, promised prosperity beyond measure. Aaron answered with a hard pause, offering a different bargain. Knowledge earns its keep through study, through guardianship, not through silver alone. From the archway appeared Lokan, elder guardian of the library's secrets, his beard frayed with years and eyes bright with hard-won truths. Lokan spoke with gravity. Knowledge is a living thing. It travels beyond borders and into the darkest corners of hunger, ambition, and fear. Knowledge grants power, but power can corrupt when restraint dissolves. Lokan told of guardians long disappeared, who sealed away dangerous knowledge to spare kingdoms from ruin. Lokan proposed a path that required time, trust, and the formation of a small council to oversee the scroll's use. Aaron and Mira listened, the air thick with the weight of history. Priya, healer of the nearby village, arrived next with herbs stacked like a small harvest and hands stained with care. Priya watched Aaron and Mira argue about the scroll's value and potential. Priya moved to the impatient crowd gathered outside, tending fevered brows and quieting cries with calm words and warm poultices. Priya spoke softly, a voice that carried through the street. Knowledge without compassion becomes a cruel instrument. Priya urged Aaron, Mira, and Lokan to consider the consequences before any experiment touched living flesh. That night, Mira pressed a fragment of the scroll's incantation, drawn by the dream of abundant harvests and unbreakable wealth. The attempt required a ritual that drew strength from many souls, Mira believed, and the village would prosper if the ritual succeeded. Aaron warned that a fragment could misfire, that a single misstep would invite harm far beyond the village square. Lokan prepared protective wards, while Priya gathered herbs for the wounded and the frightened. The ritual began, and the air grew heavy with a strange brightness, as a machine of light and wind awakened at the center of the square. The village's warmth bled away, and the crowd stared as silver gears turned and a frost bit into the evening. Priya moved through the crowd, tending to breath and fever, while Aaron stood watch at the edge, his eyes fixed on the scroll's hidden current. Mira's hands trembled, coins forgotten in the palm, as the dream of easy wealth dissolved into fear. The machine fed on life, draining warmth and vitality to fuel its gears. Aaron whispered a reminder of the scroll's true purpose. Knowledge exists to protect and heal, not to drain or conquer. Lokan's voice rose above the hum of the machine, steady as a bell. A safe return to the old ways required humility and restraint. Aaron stepped forward, not to grasp power, but to close the door on a path that could end in ruin. With Lokan's wards tightening around the scroll, Aaron extended a palm toward the machine and spoke an oath to safeguard life. Mira watched the glow dim, realization dawning that possession carried a weight heavier than gold. Regret replaced appetite. The mirage of control faded to the truth of consequence. The wards held long enough for Priya's herbs to mend the broken breaths and for the village to breathe again. The fever receded, cheeks flushed with color, and the night air carried a new patience. Aaron, Mira, Lokan, and Priya stood in the dawn's pale light outside the library, each aware that knowledge wields both shield and sword. Lokan spoke the coda that threaded through the morning. Knowledge is power, but dangerous when appetite outruns wisdom. Knowledge belongs to careful hands, to patient minds, to hearts that carry compassion as their compass. The lesson glowed in the quiet as the library doors closed again. Knowledge must be guarded, tempered by humility, and shared with mercy, or else knowledge itself becomes the danger it seeks to avert.